Hey y'all, so I've seen videos, right? And the left talk the left talks about it, the right talks about it. They just have different, opinions on it. But what everyone can agree is that Biden is not approved of. He is not. By left-wing polls, he's still, net disapproved. Um, what is it? Economists still had him down by 3 points, and that's a left-leaning poll. Um, I think even Harris had him down at some point. I don't remember when that would have been. Okay, I don't remember where that would have been, but when was the last time? The Hill. So oh no, they had him up by 5, but that was also right after or right before. I don't remember. I think it was right after the whole Afghanistan mess, but um, the point is, oh my goodness. Oh, but yeah, the point is, he is not disapproved. Like, his approval rating is 42.9%. Or, I like to use this side, civics. I believe civics does an aggregate of, like, many different polls. And they have him at 52% disapprove, which is around where Real Clear Politics put him. 39 approve, which is slightly under, which is under the approve from Real Clear Politics. But point is, Joe Biden is probably as disapproved of as George W. Bush in 2006. Which is why I'm like 2024. I do predict it will be like a 2008 election, but for the Republican and not for the Democrat. Like, Barack Obama had record breaking votes. Do I think that will happen? Probably not. I don't imagine the Republican will beat 2020 standards, but the Republican in 2024 it'll probably be an average. It'll go probably back down to 2016 levels. But the Democratic candidate, I imagine, will be just like what John McCain had, which is a depreciation. That's the word, a depreciation in votes. But the point is, like, look at this map. Look at this map. Florida went by 2.8 points. And Florida would go again in 2012, but in 2016 and 2020, it would have a hard shift to the right. It was the last big time that they voted for Democratic candidate. Ohio, same thing. But in Ohio, it was like 5 points. And so when a state that voted for Bush 2004 by 2 points, voted for Bush 2000 by like 3.3 points. But what I mean is, when a state that is like Ohio usually votes with like little margins, not very big margins, votes for, that's like if Florida votes 5%, if Florida voted 5%, but Ohio voted 5% for Barack Obama. But I think one of the biggest shocks of the evening was Indiana, that by 1 point voted for Joe Biden. I mean, not Joe Biden, Barack Obama. But that's what I mean, is that shocks like that, I imagine, are gonna come in 2024. Like, I imagine they're Nevada's gonna vote for the Republican probably, and Wisconsin is definitely going to flip back, and Pennsylvania and Michigan may flip back. North Carolina obviously will stay. But what I mean is, like, you look at this, and in Washington, even states like Washington and Oregon is still going to vote most likely for Joe Biden again because I imagine he'll run it for re-election. But they're going to vote for the Democratic candidate, but it's going to be by a lot less. So the point is, I think the nation will have a shift right in 2024 to such a degree that I do believe it will be kind of like a 2008 election, but for the Republicans and not for the Democrats. But also look at like Delaware. That's the weird one. Delaware is usually this very left-leaning state, but 51% disapprove, and of that, with the Democrats, it went from 91% all the way down to 77%. And even nationally, only 8 in 10 Democrats approve of Biden's job, which is, kind of really low. Like, if you're a Democratic president, if you're a Democrat, and you're only approved by 80%, like, that's kind of bad. But what was it? It was white, non-college educated people who are a lot in America, and they they are a lot in America. They are a large voting bloc, and they disapprove at 38%. So yeah, no, white, non-college graduates, they're not spitting for Biden again. They didn't in 2020. I think a majority of them voted for Trump, but it was like, I believe it was kind of close. I'd have to look it up. Let's go look it up. 2020. Had to go all the way down here. Okay, white, no college degree. 2/3. So, yep. Let's just say that he's gonna probably get less than 32% in the end. And I saw one article that stated that independents only prove him at 20%. So even if an additional 10% of the independents in this country vote for him over Donald Trump, because I imagine Donald Trump will be the nominee again, and I do predict it'll be a 2020 rematch, and Trump will win. We're not going to say that. What we are going to say is that it's going to probably be a 2020 rematch, except this time the independent voters will go back to Trump because of the inflation crisis, the border crisis, the Afghanistan mess, like, oh my god, so much. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video that 2022, I heard 2022 is going to be like 2018, but in reverse. I'm like, no, 2022 is going to be like a 2010, I imagine. Like, oh my god, look at 2010 House elections. The Republicans won the popular vote by a good 7% almost. No, they won it by like 6.8. So almost 7%, which Republicans don't do. But the reason I imagine is because the popular vote, like, way less of the nation came out in 2010. But that's why my point is that I imagine Democrats are not going to want to come out to the polls like they did in 2018. So the popular vote will go down a lot, and independents will come out. Left-leaning independents will not come out. Center and right-wing more right-wing independents are going to switch over and vote for the Republican Party instead of what they did in 2020. But yeah, no, I just want to say that. and I'll see you in my next video.